Where did that performance rank among the defensive performances you've had throughout your career?
It was great to see the guys play like that. They played extremely hard. And, the fun thing to watch was everybody was doing their job like as hard as they could, and they saw how they when they play together, it makes everybody else's job easier. So it was really fun to watch, man. It was a good one.
A lot of teach tape for learns of like, hey, this is what it can look like when everybody just does their 111.
That's right. That's what you really look for is, and you've been selling it, and these guys have really done a good job all year about doing like their piece and seeing how their piece fits in, and it was a clean game, and that's what was fun. You know what I mean? And they deserved it. They earned that thing. They worked really hard to get that.
When you look at Florida State, which may or may not have a different quarterback in there than the one they've had for most of the year, started hot and has cooled off. How much of it is preparing for the best version of what they could look like?
Oh, of course, you always try to do that, right? They have some really good football players. They got explosive guys everywhere, and then on top of it, their scheme is unique. What Gus Malzahn does is something that you look at and you say, okay, they're going to be in unbalanced, they're going to be in this, they're going to move, they're going to, it's kind of a combination of the things that we've seen, but all in like one game plan. So that's where it makes it difficult. And they got explosive players, so that's you always game plan for everybody's best.
Have you crossed paths coaching against Gus before?
Never. No, I remember I recruited a school one time when I was at Missouri Southern State University D2, and he was at Springdale, Arkansas. He was the head coach. Yeah, so it used to be right down the road from us. So that was the first time I met him. That was long ago, early 2000s.
So when the beard was just like out to...
Yeah, I was still, shaving back then, so different party.
I asked about defensive statistics and rankings like 4 weeks ago, and we all kind of agreed that it was pretty irrelevant at that point. Needed to see how you feeling now.
It's still the same. Yeah, that's something that I think that you really, that's a season-long thing. Because you could have a game as equally as good as you play, and then you could have one that is equally as bad at some point. And somebody could get your number, and you try to not let those things happen. But the proof and really the studies come after the season. That's what we do in the off season, and see what we can improve on, and see what plays hit us, if there's a scheme that hit us, or try to do that. And we do that during the week too. Hey, this one we gave up. This is a big play. This is a big play from week 2, or this is a big play from week 1. We'll throw those in practice just to make sure we get that stuff cleaned up. But we try to keep going that way and be as good as we can.
With the personnel losses as the season's gone on, how is corner looking to you guys?
Really, we're on a 3-man rotation right now, and all 3 of those guys have been playing at an extremely high level. They've been doing a good job communicating, staying on top of routes, doing all those things. So, I think with how that's going, and Coach Jackson does a great job, making sure those guys stay fresh and rotating and getting them in and out and getting them in the right position and on the right guys. So, we feel okay with that too. Some of the young guys are coming along. We pull different guys up during the week to see who the 4th guy is, and really that kind of rotates a little bit. Freddie and Seth and Cook, they're all guys that have ability and they're good. They just they need more reps, and so we get them a whole bunch of reps in practice to see if hey, if they get a chance, they got to be ready to play like a starter.
In terms of the defensive improvement from previous seasons to this year, have you started hearing things from current players that were here last year and the year before, be like, wow, I can see where this is really making a difference?
You try to stay out of that. As a coach, you try to live in your little bubble for as long as you can, and look at the things you need to improve, and just try to keep the guys on and stay tight. There's a couple guys that were in there after homecoming that you said hi to, and they're excited about things. You just got to win, so everybody's always excited about that. Especially the way it ended up happening on the last second deal. So. But no, I'm sure that stuff will come up, as it goes on, and something to look at in the off season when we're starting to start all over again and do it again.
We're going to talk to Aiden Hall here in a couple minutes, I believe. What are you seeing out of him through both camps and so far this season?
Oh, he's a wonderful person, man. He's done a really good job of coming in and just like saying, okay, then what do you need, coach? Okay, and you can talk back and forth with them, and be like, hey, this is where you need to improve. And then he's mature enough. And he's a grown man that he can hear critiques, and he doesn't get he doesn't get his feelings hurt. And talking about not having feelings. We're just coaching. You know what I mean? And he does a tremendous job being able to say, okay, I need to get better at that, and then he'll take it to the field and do it an individual and get better, and then you see it show up on the field. So he's great to work with, man. And he can run. That's what we like about him.
What were your impressions of him before you actually got him out on a practice field? Like what showed up in film about him when you got here?
He was a good player. There wasn't a whole bunch of it, because he didn't play a whole lot. But like you could tell he's a ball guy. When we were here and even in January, we got a couple chances to meet with the guys, around the weight room schedule. But he was always like, okay, he would study, like, hey, we're going to talk about just this technique today. We wouldn't even install a defense. We would just talk hey, we're going to learn this drop, or we're going to learn this way to play the run, and he would study, he would come back, he would ask questions, he would watch it. He's about ball, and he wants to be great at everything he does. So it was tremendous to be around him. Good?
Yes, good.
Thanks, fellas.
I gotta say that, you got freeze. I'm just kidding.
Come on, y'all. I'm already nervous now.
No walking back like Warriors.
There's two people talking to you. There's no need to be nervous. Injuries the last 2 years kind of kept you on the shelf a little bit, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What were you dealing with?
Sophomore year, I just had a bad ankle sprain in 2 different spots, and then I had messed up my knee in the middle of the season.
Same ankle?
It's on the same leg, yeah, on the same leg. Yeah.
How does it feel to get out there and actually show what you can do? And
it feels amazing. This is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. So, I wasn't gonna let an injury just hold me down. It felt good. It felt good. I always feel good to play football.
You need to shout out Birmingham now.
Shout out Birmingham.
What worked so well for the defense against SMU?
Simply everybody doing their 111. Everybody did we had mistakes, but for the most part, everybody did their job. Everybody wanted to play. We played cold black defense. We played hard, we played fast, and we played together. And we did our jobs, and we never got bored. We just kept going. That's all it was.
Can it be easy to get bored?
It's easy to get bored, but at the same time, as a true competitor, anything can happen at any time. So we try to instill that into every one of our players. Everybody on defense is a true competitor, and that's what we want. That's what we strive for. So it never gets it's easy. Yes, it's easy, but you'll never see that from us because that's what we want.
What was the phrasing you used? Cold black defense.
Cold black.
Is that a?
That's what we say. That's what we talk about every day in meetings. Cold black.
Okay, I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Leadership come up with that? Defense come up with that?
The whole one day we just sat when new staff got here, we just sat down and we just talked about our values as a defense, and we made our own code.
Who's the brain? Who just did one person come up with it and start?
It was the whole
defense.
Yeah, whole
okay.
defense, yeah.
Gotcha.
What's it like playing for Scottie Hazelton? It's got to be. I know you had admiration for your previous coaches, but I'm sure things are a little different. How is it, and what have you learned from them?
Honestly, it's fun, and it teaches you. Since I played with Coach Hayes, it's really taught me team ball. From the drills we work to the way we pursue the ball is always like a team. We talk about keeping the cup. And that might sound crazy because that's just basic angles, yes, but at the same time, that's trusting and believing that your brother is going to keep his angle, so you just run your straight shot. And that way we don't got to break down. We don't got to stop. We run through contact, and that's extra yardage that we keeping off our tail, so yeah.
How much have you learned over the years from Quincy and Dylan?
How to do my job. Especially with the old staff, that was Coach Spencer he was an old school coach, so he was always do your job, don't MA, so that was my biggest. I think that was my biggest thing that I learned from him, and just coming to work every day, ready to just go to work. It's nothing to it. No matter what's going on, no matter if you're making plays or not, no matter if you even getting playing time. First 2 years I barely played, but seeing them come in and work every day, it just pushed me to come and work every day.
It seems like, and I know me and Connor saw you some in camps and in games. you had the physical tools the last couple of years, but injuries kind of held you back. But Coach Hazelton indicated that it was your ability to kind of be like a sponge and pick up and learn and embrace the changes that's really made you stand out this season. Is that fair?
It is. I mean, this season it still feels like I'm in my freshman season. Because simply because we got a new coach, a new staff, everything is brand new. So I kind of had to go back to being like that spongy, like coach me, coach me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way I can learn and adapt to his way of coaching. So it was challenging, but at the same time I was motivated every day because I see myself getting better from the first day of spring. Like I just felt way better. So yeah.
How's the rotation work for you guys at linebacker? There's a lot of talent in that room, a lot of experience. You guys seem to have come together well.
Basically, we just keep everybody fresh. We trusted and believe that if you are a fresh team, fresh linebackers, you won't have you limit the chance of having a bad play. Because when you're tired, you get sloppy, you get beat. But when you're fresh, you come off the bench, you're ready to go.
Thanks, Aiden. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Questions for George?
You get tired of hearing the Florida State fight song in here?
No, it kind of motivates me because I know when we go down there, it's going to be pretty loud. So, and I've been hearing it for 6 years now. I kind of look forward to it, when we do play them. But yeah, I'm excited to go down there and play.
Are you going to be able to see Luke, or is that an after the game type of thing?
Yeah, I'll definitely see Luke after the game. I reached out to him a couple times throughout the season, so we kind of still stay in somewhat, contact and stuff. But it'll definitely be a fun thing to go and see him reunite after the game. Yeah.
So it's kind of good that you don't have to play against. You don't have to line up against.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to go against a guy that you were with for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah. But I think it'll be fun to see him after the game.
But as an offensive line, how do you evaluate the SMU game?
Yeah, I think I remember the past 2 weeks. They I think took pride in their D line. So that was definitely a big challenge going into SMU. And every game we look at the same. We try to take advantage of their deficiencies and look at what we can attack. But every game's the same, and we just try to do our best against SMU. And I think just pad level and just being super relentless against a D line like that, and even Florida State this week. Every game from here on out is going to be a big game. So, yeah.
Being relentless against the defensive line, that sounds like a little bit of a paradigm attitude shift from previous years. Is that fair to say?
You could say that. I think, since I've been at Wake, our offensive line, we tried, to pride ourselves in being relentless. But this year, I think just the way our offense is and how the scheme has changed from the slow mesh to now like a pro style offense. I love being I've said it before, being in a 3-point stance, and I feel like I can fire off the ball a little bit more. But yeah, I just that's one thing we try to pride ourselves more so is just being relentless and just after like picking the ball carrier up or just just doing anything we can to make the running back or quarterback, wide receiver's life easier.
I know Lely, when I spoke with him, I think even before the first camp, I asked him to describe his blocking style. He said violent, and that wasn't something I was used to hearing from an offensive lineman. So I thought it was pretty cool. How do you kind of grade where you guys are at so far this season, especially with a couple of injuries that have cropped up and had some new guys put in place? How do you feel you're all faring?
Yeah, I know. I trust everyone in the O-line room, so regardless of who plays where, I have full faith that they're going to do their job to the best of their ability, and I know we can win with those guys that are playing. I think we've done a good job of, knowing multiple positions. And so, I had never played center before, so, I remember during fall camp I was getting center reps, and even the first couple of weeks I was getting some center reps. And so I think that, and I can play both guard positions, and, I think people, George Stye being able to play, guard and tackle and all that stuff, I think is super, important. And like I was saying before, I have full faith in whoever we put in whatever position that they're going to get their job done.
Good.
Good.
Cool.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Sorry.